This is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Flag Grab Bag. Flag Grab Bag is the newest playlist. It kind of went under the radar a little bit because it released at the same time as the Master Chief Collection was announced, so nobody was really talking about it. In the bulletins, they didn't actually announce it themselves, and you had to go and refer to the calendar for Rotational playlist to find out about it. Rapscallion's already done a video on the playlist. I'll leave a link to his video in the description. As usual, he beats me again to the punch, as he always does. I was going to do this straight away, but honestly, the Master Chief Collection announcement was so hype that I couldn't wait. I had to freaking, make videos on it and just watch every single piece of information that I physically could. And it's dying down now a little bit. We got a little bit of breathing room, so I thought I'd show you guys the Flag Grab Bag. Now, Flag Grab Bag is basically an assortment of random playlists from the Capture the Flag, in the vein of Capture the Flag, but they're kind of like casual, to be honest. The frustrating thing about the playlist to me is that when you vote for them, you don't actually get to see the game type that you're voting. You probably saw just a second ago the titles for the playlists are referred to as just Flag Grab Bag, which to me is pretty darn frustrating because I like to know what I'm playing before I play it. I'm a very picky guy when it comes to playlists, and as a result, Flag Grab Bag is not one of my favorite playlists out there, and a lot of the choices are not very good. Like, for example, I mean, there's Rocket CTF. I am not a big fan of Rocket's primaries in any playlist, to be quite truthful. Sniper CTF, this is actually one of my favorites, so I got lucky. I recorded the video just a second ago, and I got Rocket CTF on Settler, and then got interrupted midway, which was fairly frustrating, but at least I get to show you a game type that I kind of enjoy a little bit more. Although we'll probably have a harder time talking and commentating at the same time, because sniping is the one thing like I really end up concentrating pretty hard on. But yeah, so far, like, it's definitely casual playlist. If you're looking for the next competitive CTF option, you are sadly mistaken. I feel like a lot of the playlists recently that are releasing are based on a casual, casual motivation, and oh, that was disgusting. Yeah, I don't know what it is about live commentating and sniping that makes me suddenly a bit better than when I'm actually not live commentating, but there we go. So I totally drifted off topic there. So the game types are like, they're quick draw CTF, which is pistols primaries. You got sniper CTF, rocket CTF, mini CTF. Now, I am not a big fan of Mini Slayer, period. I think it's kind of a dumb playlist. I think it kind of sucks all the fun out of being Mini. Like, Mini is quite funny, and I found it hilarious when I first started playing. But it actually turns into, like, this try-hard fest, and they don't really make it very fun. There's not, like, fun little objectives that you get to complete. They didn't really mix up the game type too much. It's just kind of Mini Slayer. And CTF kind of takes it a step in the worse direction, I'd say, in the fact that, you know, you're playing CTF now. There's no ordnance, so there's no random weapons. You've just got an assault rifle, and then there's concussion rifles on the ground, which to me are two of my least favorite weapons to use. I mean, concussion can be fun, but it's definitely more of a try-hard weapon, I'd say. It's a zoning weapon, you know, keeping people away from you, putting up barriers of concussion rifle fire. And I uploaded a gameplay not too long ago on it, and it was fairly try-hard, so yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But, you know, at the moment, it's kind of like, I feel like the way that CSR's headed, and the population numbers being as low as they are, they're just not able to accommodate to the lower level players in the way that they want to. I can imagine, you know, tons of lower level players, and I've even seen a Reddit post regarding this, you know, coming on and saying, hey, I'm just getting trashed right now on matchmaking. It's not even fun. These players are out of my skill level. I feel completely out of my depth, and the players I'm getting on my team are atrocious. So I feel like Freefall 3's way of dealing with that and accommodating it is putting in playlists where the better players can't really destroy the lower players. Like, they're trying to get rid of the skill gap involved in a lot of the newer playlists. And I totally understand. I just wish there was a tiny bit more choice for the competitive players. But at the moment, Master Chief Collection has been announced, so I'm no longer really cynical of these things. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Master Chief Collection is going to be absolutely godlike, so I'm done with the complaining at this point. And, you know, what's going to be one of the best things to see with the Master Chief Collection is that Freefall 3 are going to go back to how they were at the beginning of Halo 4 in supporting the game in a pretty major way. Because when Halo 4 first announced, although it released in a in a pretty bad state. They definitely worked to improving it as swiftly as they could. And they implemented a lot of changes that I was a very big fan of, like the turbo update. But it became pretty apparent early on that these changes were not going to be enough to build up momentum for Halo 4 again, and Halo 4 was a game that was kind of die a quiet death, I would say, or a loud death at the beginning, but then it just got quieter and quieter until basically nobody was talking about it, apart from a very small niche group of people within their own Halo community. You know, Call of Duty don't talk about Halo 4. They don't. It's not relevant. They kind of won that battle to an extent. But now that Master Chief Collection is coming back, that's definitely going to have a boatload of momentum behind it, and it's going to have huge player numbers. And I'm really interested to see how they approach playlists, playlist integration. You know, there's already been videos on how they're approaching matchmaking in terms of certain playlists will be Halo 1, 2, 3, certain playlists will be 2, 3, 4, etc. like that. So you'll have CTF, and then you'll have maps from 1 and 2, and then you'll have FFA, which will have maps from all the games, and that just sounds absolutely awesome. And I'm sure, like, at the beginning, there'll be, like, a couple of questionable playlist decisions, like, oh, I'm not sure if this should be in, but I feel like Freefall 3 will go out of their way to, like, improve it. Another thing I'm really excited to see is stuff like the forging options, with how they're going to approach adding in the Forge maps into the game. They say that there's going to be Forge in Halo 2, 3, and 4, I believe, not Combat Evolved. And it would be great if they did stuff like Forge test playlists again for each and every game. And that was something that would really bring Halo 4 to life and make Halo 4 relevant to some extent. Because I do worry about the relevancy of Master Chief Collection, and if they're going to make Halo 4 an enjoyable game to play, they need to really concentrate on making the playlists enjoyable, and also on top of that, bringing in a lot of Forge maps, because the base map selection on Halo 4 was not too impressive in my honest opinion. So if they could bring in a bunch of Forge maps like they were doing at one point, get destroyed, Recon man, you're a bot, I mean, come on. That would be really great, because I loved when, like, we saw the early Forge test playlist and we got stuff like Simplex. It was super hype for me, and I can't wait to see that game get supported further. But yeah, Flag Grab Bag, for me, it's just like, the biggest issue I have is not being able to see the maps. Like, even from a casual perspective, there's a lot of casual players who will not enjoy certain playlists at all. Like, a certain, you know, no one's winning, you know, by these rules, because the casual players might get legendary CTF when they don't want it, and the competitive players might get Team Rockets when they don't want it, and, like, it's just, it feels like nobody's winning by not having choice in it. And I suppose, I mean, maybe that adds to the fun of it, but, like, complete randomness in the choice of game is something that's going to put a lot of people off this playlist, in my opinion, because nobody's 100% winning, because there's going to be, especially as, like, the playlist options in this are pretty extreme. Like, I'd say Sniper CTF is an entirely different concept to Rocket CTF, and I'd say Pistol CTF is an entirely different concept. There's a lot of people who love sniping every single game, but something that snipers commonly hate is getting killed by a rocket, like when they're trying to go for a sniping streak, or just using rockets in general. They're not that interested, especially, you know, rockets versus other rockets isn't that fun. The really powerful power weapons, in my opinion, oh baby, the really powerful power weapons, in my opinion, are the most fun when nobody has it. Like, when I want a rocket launcher, I want it when nobody else has it on the entire map, and I'm just, like, dominating them. Rocket v Rocket, we played in a Drift CTF game, and on Rocket CTF, and it was stalemate-y, because going around any tight corner on a Drift could have just ended up in our demise, and it wasn't... Okay, why am I choking this so bad? Please die, thank you. It wasn't an enjoyable experience. It wasn't, like, bringing out the casual fun that I wanted. It was becoming, like, this meta game of, oh, okay, so now if I go around this corner at this time, I'm going to die, so I need to go around this way. But then they're guarding this way, so I'd probably be better off playing passively. Maybe I'll crouch and they don't see me on the radar. And that's not casual to me. That's freaking, like, stupid. I don't know. I really think, like, in terms of the casual game type options in this game, Freefall 3 seem to think that the only way they can have casual fun is by being completely unbalanced, but there's ways you can do it without doing that, without, like, you know, just completely throwing up all the rules, like throwing out the rule book, basically. That's their way of adding in casual, but I think you can do stuff like really interesting map designs, like game types where the objective is a little bit different. You know, we saw stuff like the trait zones, and there's like a couple new options in Forge, and they don't really seem to implement them into the matchmaking sector. And that might sound like a lot to do, especially as Halo 4 is kind of a dead game, but I just say it's a matter of put the power in the Forge community and, you know, delegate responsibilities to them, because they're going to love that. They're going to feel like they're being respected by Freefall 3, and they're going to feel like, you know, they're not being taken for granted, that the community are a part of the game. Probably never going to happen, because we've got Master Chief Collection now. But I feel like Master Chief Collection might encourage a lot of people who didn't play Halo 4, didn't buy Halo 4, to come back and go like, hey, I'm going to play a bit of Halo 4 until I wait. And it kind of sucks for them to like come back to this and then be like, oh, so what's happening with Halo 4? What's going on? You know, what's the fun stuff? And it's like, oh, well, at the moment they're doing rotational playlists every 2 weeks. And a lot of them are kind of lame. No offense. I mean, some of them have been decent. I am being a little bit harsh. But some of them have not been to my taste. I like Dominion Light as an idea. I thought that was, like, even if it wasn't perfect in a lot of ways, it was experimental, and we got to see a lot of new maps, and I was grateful to see that. But then King of the Hill, on the opposite hand, like, it tarnished a lot of what I love about King of the Hill. A lot of the playlist options weren't fun, and a lot of the map choices weren't up to my tastes. It felt too much like they were trying to make it BTB, King of the Hill edition, and then they added in Stealth King of the Hill, which was definitely a controversial playlist, and they didn't even give us the choice of adding in Stealth King of the Hill. They kind of just threw it in the bulletin at the last second. But anyway, this gameplay's been going on for ages, and I don't want to have to render like a 12-minute video, so I'm probably just going to cut out now. My sniping's been atrocious anyway, for the most part. A couple of nice lucky snipes here and there, but nothing too special, so I'm going to cut out the video now, upload it and render it, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my first impressions. And yeah, peace out.